Okay. If anybody here hasn't heard our next guest, he's a friend of mine. You're in for a real treat because not only does he play traditional Native American flute, but he makes them as well. And each one has a story, which I'm not going to tell you because A, it'll spoil his act, and B, I don't know. But anyhow, he's also playing tomorrow night at the Dubliner. So catch him there, but catch him here because you've already got your coats off and your coffee, so why go anywhere? Please welcome Stephen Stacy.
Good morning. I just woke up. My name's Steve Stacy. I'm from the Rosebud Reservation originally. I was born there, raised up on a little border town in Nebraska. And a few years ago, what happened was it was kind of a different story. I was kind of going through what you would call an emotional bad time. And I ended up getting a broken leg, and I ended up with these flutes that I have. A few days after I broke my leg and I got out of the hospital, one of my friends gave me a Lakota flute, and I learned how to make them. I learned how to play them. I learned quite a bit of the songs, the tradition behind the flute, what it's used for, and everything like that. And I'd never had a flute before. I'd never knew anything about a flute. Though a few days before I broke my leg, one of my friends brought one out to the ceremony we was at, and I picked it up, and I learned just a little bit. I learned that they weren't easy to play, like a lot of people think they are sometimes, you know. And I ended up, that night, we were pushing cars out of the snow, and I'd said a prayer earlier. You know, I said, whichever way that you want me to walk, that's the way I'll walk. And from there, it's going to happen, because we were pushing cars out and a rock came up out of the tire, the back tire. I just stepped out to tell this fellow to slow down, that somebody was going to get hurt, because he had his car to the floor. And I'm the one that got hurt. And I ended up in the hospital, had to go through surgery a couple times, and then I started learning how to play the flute when I got out of the hospital, and it took me a while. You know, it took me a while. It's been a long, hard struggle all these years that I've been playing, you know, and it seems like once in a while, you know, you have to struggle in order to get better and to be able to do better. And myself, I've found that throughout this last few years that I've been doing this, because I tried to pick it up and keep going with it, and sometimes it gets hard. But anyway, after I got out of the hospital and I got recovered and everything, I think it was about 3 months, something like that. And let's see, I was in a cast 4.5 months, so 4.5, 5 months of sitting around playing the flute every day and driving my family crazy, especially when I played for 3 or 4 hours a day, maybe more, you know. Anyway, about 3 months after that, I think it was, I got my first paid performance. And then 2 months later, or a month later after the first paid performance, I played at Nebraska Wesleyan University. I think it was in about 800 to 1,000 people there. And that was a big crowd. I started sweating. They said, never let them see you sweat. Boy, I didn't. For the 5 minutes that I had to play, I sweat, believe me. And then about a few months after that, I played at UNO for the first, or not UNO, but University of Nebraska-Lincoln for the first time. And from there, I guess I could say it's been uphill ever since. I have a tape and CD coming out soon, probably in about 8 to 10 weeks, something like that. And it's been a real struggle to get this produced and to get it, on the road to where I guess I'm supposed to be. I guess it's coming out when it's supposed to be time. And that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned is it takes time. Everything takes time, and it happens in its own time. And I thank my Creator every day for this gift that He's given me. A while back, I think it was, let's see, last year sometime, I did a soundtrack for Nebraska ETV, and I came up with a song, a couple songs, just right at the spur of the moment. I didn't really know what I had planned until I listened to the story that went with the song. And the story, it was about this young man that when he was born, as he grew up, he'd go up on the hill and he'd sit up there and he'd watch the sun all day. And he'd just keep watching and watching the sun as it traveled across. And he loved to do that. As the years went by, he got so used to watching the sun all the time that he wouldn't go in and he wouldn't eat. He would just sit there and wait for the sun to come back up again. And finally, his life expired. And when they buried him on that hill, the next spring, up came a sunflower. And this sunflower faces the sun all day long. And this young boy that passed on into the other world, the sunflower, for a lot of years, when we as some of the first sun dances that we had, that flower would be worn around the neck. That's where that story came from and where it leads to. Anyway, this is the song that I came up with.